name's Mark Clare, and I'm an investment banker with a firm called Woodward Partners. Why I'm here to talk is about almost one of the hard subjects around ideas, and in our view, one of the least understood, which is the money part of startups. A lot of people, and it's one of the big questions people have when they look at their ideas, and especially when people are thinking big and dreaming big, they're like, how am I going to fund this? How am I going to go about doing this? And that's one of the things I'm going to quickly talk about tonight. But first of all, just a little bit of background on myself. Currently an investment banker, but I've also been on the yellow people's, or the yellow tagged people's side of the fence. I'm also an entrepreneur. I've got a business called Value Cruncher, which is an online-based web business. Again, in the finance space, which is a bit sad compared to the trilogy story, but I won't bore you with all of that. But we did the same thing, we had a vision, we had an idea, we built it up. I raised some capital from some of the trading guys here in Wellington, and I've, before the session, just been at a session with a group of my shareholders around a whole lot of the financing stuff. So I've been where you guys are at, sitting there going, you know, how do I raise money for this? Can I raise money for this? With an aim to, hopefully tonight, to be able to pass on some of the thoughts on that. I've also been on the other side of it, and I worked for Jenny Morell, who's a venture capitalist here in Wellington. So I've been asking for money, and I first got introduced to Jenny when I was trying to raise money from her, and she said, no, but why don't you come and work for me? But that was a while ago. So I've been on the money side of it as well, so I can understand the perspectives of where you guys are and how scary it is on the, you know, I've got a big idea, how do I go about raising money? Been there, successfully raised cash, and I've also been on the side of the money people looking at it and going, how do you do that? So what's the simple piece of advice I can give you around it? There's one key takeaway that I want you to take away from what we're talking about here tonight, and it's not a knockback. There's a big difference between a cool idea and a big opportunity. And what I mean by that is the professional investors that are looking around New Zealand full stop for opportunities to invest in are looking for big opportunities. And what we mean by that is early stage seed investors like Movac here in Wellington state that they're looking, if they're going to invest, they're going to look for a 30 times return on their money. And that, I mean, that's a big hurdle to get over. And what we mean by that is the only type of business that is going to make that sort of return for the investors that put their cash in is a big opportunity, not necessarily a cool idea. You may have an incredibly cool idea which is going to impact the lives of basically everybody on Constable Street. Now that's not going to be the type of opportunity that's interesting to investors. Now that doesn't mean that it's not a cool idea and it can't be funded another way, being bootstrapping it or some other government funding or things around it. But a lot of the time we see people coming through to us and saying, you know, I've got this cool idea, surely, you know, all I need is $100,000, all I need is $50,000, and people are almost surprised when they get knocked back by investors. And a key part of that is understanding, you know, you need to understand it from the investor's perspective. Investing in early stage companies is really, really difficult, and one of the classic lines was put to us about a week ago from an entrepreneur. Was like, I don't understand these sort of early stage investors. They expect, you know, 60% of their companies to fail. Why don't they just invest in good companies? And the thing I'd say around that is, in the investors that invest in early stage businesses, it is really, really hard. There's a fantastic book written by an American guy called Randall Stross called E-Boys. It's a terribly named book, but it's actually fantastic. And it was written in the time of the dot-com boom and followed a group of venture capital investors investing in a number of the sort of dot-com companies, one of which was eBay. And this was a guy that was basically embedded right with all the investors, and he looked at the 10 or 12 companies they invested in that fund, and at the time he couldn't pick. When he looked at the situation from the end, he couldn't pick the difference between what was a good winner, eBay, and what was some of the other Webvan and some of the other sort of disaster stories. Making investments in early stage companies is really hard. So a Movac or any other early stage company will aim for somewhere between a 10 and 30 times return on your money. And that is what they need to make, you know, to pay for their losses and to get it worked through. Now that's a key thing to understand For a lot of you guys out there, if you're turning around going, yes, I want to raise money or I need to raise money to make this happen, it's understanding what is available and how you can go about doing it. And the biggest thing that you need to understand is the difference between a cool idea, which might work really well in Constable Street, and a big opportunity. And a great example of that is what Rod Drury's done with Xero. Xero is a huge opportunity, a global opportunity to take over the online accounting market. So that's my one takeaway around it. I'm going to be around later on and happy to sort of talk about, you know, the various options around raising cash from bootstrapping all the way up to potentially venture capital and sort of those external funding sources. But again, the only thing I want to say, difference between a cool idea and a big opportunity. Doesn't mean that that cool idea is not worth pursuing though. Thank you.